Hello, welcome back to the Her in Between podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Jones, and I'm so happy you're here today. It's such a beautiful day. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a good day. I'm still in my pajamas. You might still be in your pajamas when you're listening to this too. I was thinking about changing, but then I'm like, no, I'll change later. I'm just going to sit on this couch, sip my tea. We've got some tea, and I got my mug, and yeah, just drinking some good old hibiscus tea. I am on my period and I always drink a lot of hibiscus tea while I'm on my period. Well, I always drink a lot of hibiscus tea right before my period and while I'm on my period. It just helps with cramps, it helps with my hormones, it just helps. So, hibiscus tea, nothing too special about it. I do have a little honey in it because I was craving something sweet. And so, yeah, that's what we're drinking today. Anyways, I really am happy to be here today. It's episode 14. Um, yeah, I have been having a good day. I've been having a good week. I hope you've been having a good week, and I'm just excited about being here again. Episode 14. We've been here on this couch 14 times together. So sweet. Or maybe this is the first time you're listening to me, but I've sat on this couch 14 times for the Her in Between podcast. And so, yeah. Um, I updated my computer last night for the first time in like probably over a year. I know that's really bad. And so it's looking a little weird, which is making me a little nervous with whether this is recording or not. But nevertheless, the show is going to go on. I wanted to hop straight into this week's episode because I got a lot on my plate today, and you probably do too. So I kind of just want to go straight into what's on my heart today. Um, so yeah, welcome to episode 14. We're going to call this episode Vacation in Your Everyday Routine. This has been on my heart heavy, and I was like, I want to hop on the pod and talk about this. With the weather getting warmer and my line of work being in its busy season, I find myself constantly thinking about vacation. Like, I need to get away, I need a break. And I feel like I say it at least 3 times a week. When somebody asks me how I'm doing, I go, oh, I'm doing good. I just need a vacation. Like, I find myself saying it all the time, which is fine. I think we all kind of think about vacation when the weather starts getting warmer. But it made me also realize how it's so important for us to have vacation in our everyday routine. And so that's what I want to talk about today. This is probably going to be a quick little episode, but I think that it's super important, especially for the people who are always thinking about how they need to go on a vacation. So, without further ado, let's hop straight into this episode. So, first things first, I think we need to really redefine vacation. So, right now, when you hear the word vacation, you probably think about getting on a plane, getting on a boat, getting in the car, and traveling somewhere else to completely relax, maybe party, maybe just have a good time with your friends and your family and your hubby or your partner. Um, I don't know. You're thinking about palm trees, you're thinking about water. When you just think about vacation, you just think about hotels and getting away. At least I do. Um, but in this case, I want us to redefine vacation. Vacation can be those things, but also it can be little small moments in your day. It can be nights in your week, 2 hours before you start your work day on a Wednesday. It can be your lunch break. Let's look at vacation in a different way for this episode. In December, before the new year, me and my husband usually have a planning party. It's just me and him, and we have a notebook and we talk about all the vacations that we're going to take at least up until like August of the following year. And then throughout the year, maybe in like April, we'll plan the rest of the vacations, but we always have at least up to like August planned out. Um, and so we try to do one trip every quarter. And that's like a huge blessing. And I know everybody cannot do that, but that's just something that we do. And my husband and I, we do a lot of road trips. We do like probably one plane trip a year together. But yeah, that's just something that we wanted to do within our marriage, is always go on a trip every quarter. And so um, this year, we've gone on one trip. Our next trip is coming up in May, but we went on one trip, and that was our anniversary. No, that was our Valentine's Day getaway in the mountains. And we have our trip coming up in May. And when I tell you, I feel like I have not gone on vacation in so long. I feel like I have not gone on vacation in so long. That leap from February to May is so long for me. I think if I prioritized myself and I took time out for myself more throughout the year, if I vacated um, at times when I wasn't maybe getting on the road trip or I wasn't getting on a plane, maybe I wouldn't feel it so bad, because I'm feeling it bad. And if I really look back at my everyday, I have not been prioritizing myself. Like these past couple of weeks, months, I have literally been rolling out of the bed and going to the computer. I haven't been going on my walks. I haven't been doing the small things that bring me joy. And I really, really, truly believe if I was staying on top of those things, I wouldn't feel so deprived. And so, yeah, I think that I need to start giving my daily routine, giving my weekly routine a little vacation time. So, yeah, let's redefine vacation, because when you redefine vacation and don't just see it as a getaway, I promise you, your life will feel so much more beautiful and lighter. And so, yeah, that's the first thing we're going to do before we get any deeper into this episode, is to just redefine vacation. Vacation is getting on a plane and going to an island and wearing bathing suits 22 hours out of the day. That is vacation. But also, vacation is your warm cup of coffee in the morning, sitting on your porch, listening to the birds chirp, reading your favorite book, doing a devotional. Like, that's vacation too. And it's so important for us to not and it's so important for us to not neglect those moments. And it's so important for us to not wait for our next um, trip to the airport. Like, this is your life. And when you wait just for the next big thing, you miss out on the little things. Your life is so beautiful, and it's important to focus on the mundane. And when I say the mundane, I'm meaning the everyday things, the things that don't require a passport. So now that we've redefined vacation, the question is like, okay, but how? How do I do that? And one of the first things that popped in my head was mindfulness. And when I say mindfulness, because that's a very broad term, I think what I mean is having mindful moments. I think it's so important to just slow down. Remember, I was saying that I have some mornings where I wake up, brush my teeth, wash my face, hop straight to the computer. I'm not slowing down. I'm going straight into it. I am going straight into giving myself to the world, giving myself to my work, giving myself to a dollar bill. Like, no time for me, no time to pour into me. I go straight into that. I'm moving fast. But when I say mindful moments, I really am saying slow down, be present. So instead of running to my computer, how about I wake up a little earlier, go downstairs, make my oatmeal, put the phone down, eat my oatmeal slower. Don't eat my oatmeal with the idea of how I have to be somewhere else other than at the table eating my oatmeal. Do you feel me? Being more present. I'm a person that I can really feel people. Like I can feel when something is wrong with people. And one thing that bothers me sometimes so much is that I can tell when I'm with somebody and they want to be somewhere else. It's like the most irritating feeling, but I can feel it. And I don't take it personal, but I just know that we're always like a lot of us live a fast life. We're not slowing down. And I can tell when something is on somebody's mind or when they know that they got to get somewhere else. So they're here with me, but they also got to be somewhere else. Well, we do that with others, but we also do that with ourselves. And so I think that it's important to be present with the moment that you're at right now. Take that whole moment in. And when you really are present and when you're really soaking in the moment, like when you're really eating your breakfast and eating it slow and tasting your food in the morning and not rushing, feeling like you're about to be late or miss out on something, I find that it even reduces stress. Nothing is more stressful than not being able to take in a moment. It's like when you're eating and you've got to eat fast because you got to go somewhere and you're almost like spilling stuff everywhere. You're eating messy instead of slowing down. Like it reduces stress. And I think if we were to take those moments, just even in the morning, I'm using breakfast. I just keep using breakfast as an example. When we take those moments and we really slow down, it it creates like a moment. It's like you always hear people about I'm romanticizing my morning breakfast. Like if they're romanticizing their breakfast, if they're creating vacation like within their breakfast, I promise you that they're not rushing. I promise you that they're doing it slow down. Nobody rushes through a romantic moment. A romantic moment always means like slow, steady, taking it all in. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And so, yeah, I would say practice having mindful moments, moments where you are super present. That is a great way to create vacation. And so, especially if you have a partner, I'm married. My favorite dinners are when me and my husband are just talking, looking at each other. The TV isn't on. It's just me and him, and we're laughing about our day. Those moments are so special, and we are so present. We're not on our phones, and it feels like a date. And so, yeah, that's one way you could really create vacation in your everyday life, and it's so important. And so, yeah, one thing I challenge myself is to say a prayer out loud every single day. Um, and it allows me to slow down. It allows me to connect with God, and it allows me to even connect with myself. Because sometimes I wake up and I wake up maybe with a burden, or I wake up with a worry, or maybe I know that I have a presentation and I'm a little worried. And it allows me to give those things over to God, and it allows me to slow down too and to share what I'm going through too. So prayer is a big thing for me. People do morning meditations where it allows them to slow down and just just declutter their mind, I would say. So yeah, that's another way to have mindful moments, but you can have mindful moments with eating as well. And just reading, you know what I mean? So yeah, mindful moments is so key and it's so important. And I've noticed that the more that I pray, the more that I slow down in the morning and like pray, oh, my days are so much sweeter because I get filled up. And I can conquer the day instead of giving my life straight to the world right when I wake up. So yeah, mindful moments. Let's do that. The second way you can create vacation in your everyday routine is by creating mini escapes. Um, Burnout is real. And when you do not pour into yourself, you're going to burn out. That is what's going to happen. Cause and effect. If you do not have these little mini escapes, you are going to be deprived, and you're going to feel like until I get on that plane and I can close this laptop, I am not going to be well rested. And that's not okay. And I also, before I get into this, I want to continue to let you know that I am not saying vacations outside of your everyday routine, meaning like vacations where you got to get on a plane, get on a road trip, go to a hotel. I'm not saying those are bad. I think those are amazing. What I'm saying is that if you only live for those moments, you will literally wish your life away. And so, yeah, I just want to keep saying, like, I love getting on planes and I love vacating. But let me tell you something, there's 365 days in a year. Most of those days, I am not going to be on a beach, and neither are you. And that's okay. And so, because I'm not going to be on a beach those days, I got to make sure that this life that I'm living for the majority of the time is a beautiful one too. And so, yeah, I just want to throw that out there because I don't want you listening to this feeling like, dang, I shouldn't look forward to vacations. No, you should. But that shouldn't be the only thing that you should look forward to. You have a beautiful life. Your everyday life is beautiful. And sometimes we're not intentional. And sometimes we ignore that. And yeah, I don't want to live a life that I'm wishing away the moments that don't include me going to Hartsville Jackson Airport. I live in Atlanta. I don't want to live like that. And I don't want you to either. So that's the main reason why I'm recording this episode. Um, but yeah, back to what I was saying. Uh, Planning mini escapes. Listen, on Thursdays, let's say, Thursday evenings, maybe that's the night in your week where you do a hobby that you love. Maybe you do a workout class once a week in the morning that you have fun with rather than just lifting weights. Maybe you take a Pilates class. Creating those little moments in your everyday life, in your weekly routine, in your monthly routine, creating moments that you can look forward to without having to get a boarding pass. That's important. One thing that I recently have gotten into is reading fiction. I used to never read fiction. I was a nonfiction girly, self development, biographies, autobiographies, faith based books. But I joined a book club that I go to once a month, and we read fiction. And it allows me to escape. I get so excited being able to get in my bed and curl up and highlight in my fiction books, my books where all of the characters are fake, the scenarios are fake, and it allows me to go into a world that just doesn't exist. It allows me to escape. I love it. Another thing I like to do is I like to go and try different workout classes. Workout classes where I am not an expert. Honestly, it's working something in my body, but it's not my normal lifting weight sessions. It's something that I look forward to. It's an escape. Another thing I like to do, I love going to farmers markets. I love looking at the fresh produce, trying new drinks that I never would try. I'm a drink girly. I love beverages. That's why I'm always sipping on something new in every episode. But you got to create those little, those fun little escapes. And these mini escapes, they don't have to cost money. Like I said, books. I have so many books at home. You probably have books at your house that you haven't read. Curl up on a Thursday on your couch, put a fun drink that you have in your refrigerator in a glass, and sip on it and read a book. Creating these mini escapes is so important. And if you're one of those people who's always focused on work and is like, oh, I don't really have any hobbies, take some time and think about what brings you joy. Like, what's something that you're interested in, not something that you're good at, something that you would be interested in, and think about how you can incorporate that in your everyday life. Listen, I think about how short our lives are, no matter how long we live. And when I think about that, I think about how I want to take in every day for what it is. I don't want to wish days away. And like I said, I don't want you to wish days away. And so I don't, like, we gotta find some things that we love, because this life can be a little stressful. Most of us, we work in some capacity, whether you own a business, whether you're a freelancer, or whether you clock in a 9 to 5 or an hourly part time job. Most of us are working. And stay at home mom. Let me not forget that. Stay at home mom, stay at home wife. Listen, at some way, we are all working. Most of us are. If you're not working, well, that's fine too. But most of us, we need a break and we need an escape. And so it's important to get to know what you love and what brings you joy. And don't feel ashamed if you don't know what you like, because we have been trained to work, work, work. As soon as we get done working, we just watch Netflix. We scroll on our phones. But there is a time to just cut on Netflix. And there is a time to scroll on that phone. But there's also a time to do other activities. And so if you need to take time out to get to know what you love, do that. And maybe what you've always loved has changed. And that's okay too. But what's not okay is not getting to know what you love and what allows you to escape. And me using the word escape sounds bad, but y'all get what I'm saying. And the third way that we can create vacation in our everyday life is through spontaneity. Did I say that right? Because I never say that word out loud. I always say being spontaneous. So let me say this. And the third way that we can create vacation in our everyday routine is by being spontaneous. I know that scares a lot of people. I think that it is so important, especially as we age, is to be more spontaneous. Listen, when we were young, we didn't have no problem with being spontaneous. When we were younger, if our friend called us up and was like, hey, you want to come to my house for a sleepover? Hey, you want to go to the mall? We'd be like, oh yeah, let me ask my mom, or yeah, let's go. Let's walk to the store. Like, that's the energy we had when we were younger. And granted, we didn't have as many responsibilities. But I'm going to be honest. As adults, sometimes we be acting way, way too busy. Way more busier than we need to be. How about we add a little bit of spontaneity? Is that the word? How about we be a little spontaneous? How about we add some adventures? Maybe the GPS is saying that, hey, you need to drive 15 miles and then make a left, and then you'll be at your destination. But maybe halfway through, you see a sign on the side of the road that says, exit here for some peaches, exit here to pet some goats. Listen, don't be afraid to get off on the exit and go look at those peaches and those goats. That's an adventure. That's a fun story. That's something to laugh about later. It's so important that we invite spontaneous moments into our life, because a lot of those moments, they're just, they have the best stories. I'll share one with you. So there was this one time, me and my friends, it's three of us in a group chat, and we were texting. And I believe one of my friends was like, hey, you want to go to Serenbe for the day? And like, Serenbe is like an hour and some change away from us, maybe like an hour and 30 minutes, maybe. I really can't remember because I didn't drive. But it's not close to anywhere where we live, but it's not too far. And I was like, yeah, I didn't have any plans that day. And I'm like, sure. And then my other friend was like, sure. And we just woke up in the morning, met at her house, got in the car, got some breakfast, got some coffee, which was so fun. We tried a new breakfast spot. Well, a breakfast spot I hadn't been to, got some drinks, and we went on a little mini road trip, and we were out there all day. Experiencing like just different shops out there. Serenbe is like a small town outside of Atlanta, and it's just so cozy and cute. And we took pictures, ate lunch, and it was just the best girls' day that we did not plan. And most days like that, when it's an all-day affair, I plan them out. But that was so fun, and it filled my soul so much. And it really reminded me about how I need to do more spontaneous things. I am not that busy. I'm not. I am not that busy. And that's a moment that I will never forget. I will never forget that day that we spent at Serenbe. It was just so special. And it made me realize how I want to do more things like that. And, we're adults, so we can't always do that, but we can do that more. And so I want to challenge you to do that more. And yeah, it adds a little razzle dazzle to your life. And it's so fun. It's like the whole time when we were on that trip, we were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we just did this. There was no plan. It was just we did it. And it was so cool. Add a little razzle dazzle to your life because it's worth it. And some of my best moments are spontaneous ones. Spontaneous moments where there was no agenda. There was no plan. We just went. And I have the personality that I really don't like to do a lot of planning anyway, even though I've had to learn to plan a little bit more. Um, just because I have more commitments in my life and I want to make sure I can really commit to them. So I'll need to make sure I don't double book myself and stuff. But yeah, be more spontaneous, boo. Those are my tips. I hope that you feel challenged by the end of this episode. I hope that you can incorporate at least one of these tips that I shared. I know it can sometimes be hard to do because we get caught up in our everyday. But it's important to slow down and recognize that it makes life a little bit easier. It makes life a little bit more enjoyable. So, no, you don't have to go away, get on a plane, get on a boat to vacate. And to be honest, sometimes it's not feasible for you to get on a boat or get on a plane. But that doesn't mean that you don't get to vacate. So, I hope that this podcast encouraged you, and I hope that you feel empowered. I hope that you feel like, yeah, I've got the power to create a beautiful life. I hope that you leave this episode knowing that you do have a beautiful life and that you don't have to go somewhere to experience joy. You can experience joy every day. To have joy, everything doesn't have to be perfect. To have joy, things don't have to be easy. Things can be hard, you could still have joy. And so, yeah, create that daily vacation. Create that vacation that you don't have to check in on. Create that vacation where you don't have to get a hotel for. You create that vacation right where you are because you can do it. But you have to be intentional about it. And you've got to say, yes, that's what I'm going to choose this life. I am going to do these things every day. I'm going to do these things every week for myself. So I'm not deprived and crying for a vacation all the time. And like I keep saying, there's nothing wrong with wanting to go to the airport and to fly somewhere else. There's nothing wrong with that. But I do want us to know that most of our year will not be spent in an airport. Okay, if you're a flight attendant or a pilot, it might be. But most of our time won't be doing that. And so, because that is true, we've got to create beautiful everyday moments. We've got to create beautiful moments in our everyday, in the mundane. There's so much power in having joy in your mundane, in your everyday. And so I hope that this episode encouraged you. I love you. Thank you for listening. Super happy to have you here as always. Thank you for encouraging me. And I will see you next Thursday. Don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube because I do video. I do video. I know many of y'all don't know that, but I do video. So I am in my pajamas. Sometimes I'm looking a little crazy, but if you want to see me on YouTube. All right. Love y'all. Bye.